Hi, Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 3. Our topic presentation today is Wastewater Treatment Plant. My name is Azra Afifah binti Ahmad Kamran, S52365. I will start the presentation of the introduction of Wastewater Treatment Plant. Our main problem statements is residential area will produce wastewater that derive from substances such as human waste, food scraps, oils, soaps, and chemicals that must be treated. Hence, wastewater treatment plant need to be constructed in housing area to treat the used water before release it back to the environment. Next, to remove large objects such as rags, papers, plastics, and metals, we use screening for the first unit operation wastewater treatment plant to prevent damage and clogging. Large organic particles in food waste, eggshells, sands, and coffee grounds can be settled out of the water by using grit chamber. The presence of fats, oil, and grease are derived from the discharge of animals, kitchen, and industry. However, for some industries like oil palm will produce huge quantities of oil and grease that need to be screened out. So, we choose to include oil skimming tank as preliminary treatment to remove floating substances like oil, grease, fat, soaps, and fruit skin. Then, to discard readily settleable solids and floating materials or scum from wastewater, we include primary sedimentation tank in our treatment. For human waste and toxic chemicals, we choose to treat in secondary treatment. This is because oxygen is added to the wastewater to speed up the growth of microorganisms. These microbes then consume the waste and settle to the bottom of the secondary settling tank. After secondary treatment, 80 to 19% of human waste and other solids have been removed, including toxic chemicals. For the site selection, the name of the project site is Taman Armon. The planning area for Taman Armon is located at Tok Jembal, Kuala Terengganu, Terengganu. This is because the growth population, business activities, tourism getaway, and educational hubs in Tok Jembal make it the best site selection for this project. We have 4 objectives that need to be achieved for this project. First, to design a suitable wastewater treatment plant for Taman Armon. Second, to present design steps and calculation of wastewater treatment plant. Third, to ensure the new development is compatible with residential neighborhood. And last one is to serve an efficient and dependable system of the needs of residential.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Farah Fashihah binti Nidzam. My metric number is S51503. Today I'm going to explain about the method for this project. Okay, this is our flowchart for this project. The title for this project is the wastewater treatment plant. For the meeting and discussion among our group members is by using the WhatsApp. For the data, for the calculation, we are using the Excel Microsoft, and to create the flowchart, we are using the PowerPoint. For the result and the discussion, the calculation is collected by the Excel Microsoft, and the wastewater treatment plant in a 3D is by using the AutoCAD software. And last but not least is the conclusion. This is the sewage treatment process. Sewage treatment process is refer to the process of removing the contaminant, microorganism, and other pollutant from the wastewater. There are 3 stages in this treatment, which include the pre-treatment, primary treatment, and secondary treatment. For the pre-treatment consists the screening and the grit chamber. For the primary treatment consists primary clarifier, and for the secondary treatment consists aeration tank, secondary clarifier, and chlorine content tank. This is the purpose of unit operation in every treatment. For the pre-treatment, there are screening which used to protect the pumps and other chemical equipment. Other than that, it also used to prevent the clogging of valve and other appurtenances. For the grid chamber, it used to remove the suspended inorganic particles such as sandy. And next, it is used to protect the moving mechanical equipment for abrasion and abnormal wear. For the skimming tank, it is used to make sure the floating matter such as oil, fat, grease are removed while the liquid flow out continuously under a partition. For the primary treatment, there are primary sedimentation, which is used to remove the suitable organic solids in large basins under a relative condition, which is the BOD must in range 30% to 40% and the total suspended solid is in 50% to the 70%. This is the secondary treatment. In secondary treatment, there are activated sludge. It is used to oxidize the carbonaceous biological matter, oxidize nitrogenous matter, such as ammonium and nitrogen in the biological matter to remove the nutrient, which is the nitrogen and the phosphorus. Next, for the return activated sludge, it is used to prevent the loss of microorganisms from aeration tank and maintain the adequate population of the wastewater. Next, it also used to prevent the overpopulation of microorganisms in the aeration tank. For the secondary clarifier, it is used to separate the activated sludge solid from the mixed liquor. And lastly is the chlorination tank, which is used to remove the pathogen and other physical and chemical impurities. It also used to protect the quality of water for the consumer.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ainul Syafiqah binti Hamzah. My metric ID is S50372. So I will present for the results and discussion. This is our housing scheme for this project. From the housing scheme, we can calculate the PE, which is population equivalent that we will use for our next calculation. There are three levels of treatment in this wastewater treatment project. There were preliminary treatment, primary treatment, and lastly is secondary treatment. The first part of the preliminary treatment is sewer. For our project, we use type of sewer that made up of concrete. This is because of concrete is durable. The velocity at maximum flow and minimum flow for the sewer is 1.30 meter per second and 0.68 meter per second. Both values were acceptable for enabling the sewer to self-cleansing. The second part of the preliminary treatment is screening, which is function to remove the coarse solid from the wastewater so that there will be no clogging of valves and other appurtenances. From the calculation, we know that the size of opening for the screen was 25 mm, which categorized as core screen. In this project, the type of screen was bar screens, which designed with having base screens of 0.6 meter and 22 blades. The next part for the preliminary treatment was grid chamber. The function for the grid chamber is to remove inert dense material to avoid abrasion of pump and other mechanical devices. So this is the dimension for our grid chamber, and the type of grid chamber that we used was aerated grid chamber. The purpose for choosing this type of grid chamber was to make primary treatment more effective. The last part for the preliminary treatment was skimming tank. The function of this tank is to remove the grease and oil in sewage. So in this project, we use 4 skimming tanks designed with each tank having dimension of 50 meter times 5 meter times 2 meter. So the purpose of using 4 skimming tanks was to make sure the removal of oil and grease was compatible with the value of PE, population equivalent.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nazihah Hamid. My metric ID is S50731. I will explain about the primary and the secondary treatment of our project. After preliminary treatment was done, the wastewater will undergo the primary treatment that involves sedimentation of solid waste within the water. The suspended solids that pass through screens and grid chambers are removed from the sewage in sedimentation tanks. These tanks are also called primary clarifier. The dimension of the primary sedimentation tank for this project was 11.4 meter times 34.2 meter times 3 meter. The shape of the tank was rectangular tank, and the benefit is usually less expensive to cover and easier covering of tank if warranted, for example for odor control. The total number of sedimentation tanks designed was 4 tanks. The reason for using 4 tanks was to allow maintenance and repair. The last level of treatment for this project was secondary treatment. The objective of secondary treatment was the further treatment of the effluent from primary treatment to remove residual organics and suspended solids. There were 3 types of tanks in this treatment, which were aeration tank, secondary clarifier, and chlorine contact tank. The aeration tank contained microorganisms to break down the organic compounds and nutrients, because if wastewater that is overly rich in nutrients can cause the ecosystem imbalance if released into the environment. The most common type used to remove nutrients is activated sludge treatment or process. The process begins with aeration wastewater treatment, where microorganisms are suspended and mixed into wastewater to promote breakdown of nutrients. The dimension for the aeration tank was 38 meter times 19 meter times 4 meter each. In this wastewater treatment project, there were 2 aeration tanks included, so that there is even amount of oxygen supply in aeration system. For the secondary clarifier, there were a total of 4 tanks, and the detention time was 4 hours, which is acceptable since a too short detention time will cause solids carryover. Lastly, a chlorine contact tank was designed with dimension 4.96 meter times 19.84 meter times 9.92 meter. This tank was originally used for finished water storage. Chlorine is added to water to kill any disease-causing organisms which may be in the water or may enter the water as it travels through distribution system.
My name is Azra Afifah binti Ahmad Kamran, S52365. I'm going to present the design layout of wastewater treatment plant. This is the 3-dimensional layout that we designed using AutoCAD software. This design includes with the preliminary treatments, which are screening, grid chamber, and we have 4 tanks for oil removal, or also known as skimming tanks. Then, for primary treatment, we have 4 primary sedimentation tanks. And the last one is secondary treatment, that consists of 2 aeration tanks, 4 secondary clarifiers, and chlorine content tank. This wastewater treatment design is very suitable and compatible with the need of the project in Taman Armon.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azizah bin Hasim, and my matric ID is S50548. Today I want to present my part, which is conclusion. Okay, based on our wastewater treatment plant, the treatment takes place in 3 stages. First is preliminary, primary, and secondary. Preliminary treatment consists of screening, grit removal, and oil removal. Primary treatment consists of primary sedimentation tank, and secondary treatments consists of aeration tank, secondary clarifier, and chlorination, which is disinfection. Each of the components in the treatment plant play important roles in order to ensure the treatment plant is effective. Each calculation is calculated with precautions taken, such as velocity, minimum and maximum value, in order to build the treatment plant for the resident area. In this project, we choose concrete for the sewer to make it durable and to eliminate unpleasant odor problems and prevents the occurrence of soil contamination. The type of screen used for screening was bar screens that were designed to have 0.76 meter and 22 blade width screens. The opening size for the screen was 25 mm, known as a coarse screen. For this project, the dimension of the grid chamber was 3 meter. 3 meter times 5.67 meter times 17.07 meter, and the type of grid chamber used was the aerated grid chamber. The aim of selecting this type of grid chamber was to make it more effective for primary treatment. Since there is a petrol pump in this area, skimming tanks has been built. 4 tanks were the total number of the sedimentation tank berths. Allowing maintenance and repair was the justification for using 4 tanks, which means it is the aim for the using of 4 tanks. For primary treatment, 4 tanks are the total of planned primary sedimentation tanks. Allowing maintenance and repair was the purpose of the using of 4 tanks. For secondary treatment, 2 aeration tanks were used in the aeration system so that there is also a quantity of oxygen supply. There were total of 4 tanks for the secondary clarifier, and the detention period was 4 hours, which is appropriate as too short a detention time would cause solid carry over. And finally, a chlorine contact tank with a dimension of 4.96 meter times 19.84 meter times 9.92 meter was built. And originally, this tank was used for the final storage of water. That's all from us. Thank you.